This is a tactical article just in marketing wool. Read it not just as a how-to, but as a reminder. Your CRM isn't a tool, it's your co-craftsmen.
Welcome to the Innovation Forge.
In today's episode, we visit the Forge Bellows. Let's see how innovation meets artistry as we forge something extraordinary together.
You are listening to the Innovation Forge, the #1 podcast on adaptive enrollment management, exploring the data, marketing, and strategy that fuels higher education. Here's your host, David Dysart.
Tools down, minds up. Welcome to the first batch of the Forge Bellows. This isn't just another newsletter. This is your admissions anvil, your data crucible, your CRM heat map, hand-forged, taken straight from the fire of enrollment strategy, student success, and the Smiths who dare to build smarter systems in Slate, spreadsheets, and beyond. In this edition, we turn our tongues towards 4 core ingredients in the modern Forge. CRM systems that build relationships, not just records. Predictive analytics that show you where to strike. Yield and retention modeling that connects the pipeline to the people. And tailored messaging that doesn't just sound personal, but it is personal. Each featured article is a piece of raw ore hammered into shape with analysis, commentary, and a few sparks of fun. Because in the Innovation Forge, information should be useful and, well, readable, listenable, enjoyable. Let's fire it up and see how adaptive enrollment management takes shape today. In this first article, Understanding CRM Systems for Universities, What Function Do They Serve? By Higher Education Marketing Solutions. In the halls of the Innovation Forge, we say your tools are only as strong as your systems. This article hits the anvil squarely. CRMs are no longer nice to haves, they are mission critical. The piece draws a smart line between the bureaucratic ledger keeping of an SIS and the relational artistry of a CRM system. Where the former tracks the what, the CRM tracks the who, the why, and how often they ghosted your open house. The standout value? Personalization and automation tempered together. From behavioral nudges for disengaging students to alumni fundraising segmentation that would make a Wall Street analyst blush. This isn't just about email triggers, it's about relationship sculpting with heat, pressure, and insight. Of course, it isn't without its molten headaches. Data integration, staff training, and system alignment are the slag that you'll need to clear. But with the right Forge fire, and a few Slate writes on hand, you can reshape student engagement from start to lifelong supporter. This is a tactical article just in marketing wool. Read it not just as a how-to, but as a reminder. Your CRM isn't a tool, it's your co-craftsmen. Back to the coals. Predictive analytics gets personal. Article. How predictive analytics can boost student success rates. Publisher, Full Fabric. In the heart of the Forge, timing is everything. Heat the metal too long, and it weakens. Strike too soon, and you just waste effort. That's what this Full Fabric article on predictive analytics gets right. It's not about knowing everything, it's about acting at the right moment. The piece outlines how institutions are using predictive analytics to identify students at risk of dropping out, missing deadlines, or underperforming. And it makes a solid case. Don't just wait for students to wave a red flag. Spot the smoke before the fire. What's refreshing is how practical the approach is. The article doesn't try to dazzle with jargon or models. Instead, it focuses on everyday application, tracking engagement behaviors, building personalized outreach campaigns, and intervening early enough to matter. In other words, using data not as a retrospective guilt trip, but as a proactive, student-centered tool. From admissions or a CRM standpoint, this is the part of the Forge most people overlook. We obsess over recruitment, yield, and funnel math, but the real artistry is in continuity. It's the weld between departments. It's when the marketing data informs advising. It's when Slate flags a disengaged student not just for a record update, but for a well-timed human moment. But the heat of this Forge comes with a warning. Ethics. The article rightfully nods to the thin line between personalization and profiling. Just because you can predict doesn't mean you should automate. Just because the data says low engagement doesn't mean a student's story is fully written. And there's the craftsmanship required. The article makes predictive analytics sound accessible, and in some cases, with the right CRM scaffolding, it is. Let's be honest, you don't get high-yield models from rusted data. Your SIS, LMS, and Slate instance all need to speak the same language. Your flags need calibration, your staff need training, otherwise you're just swinging a sledge at sand. So, here's the hammer strike. Predictive analytics isn't just a tool for institutional metrics, it's a student success engine, at least when wielded wisely. It requires a collaboration between Slate Writes, data teams, faculty, and student support units. It needs intentional implementation, thoughtful thresholds, and above all, the humility and humanity to know the model isn't the student. Final take? Predictive analytics is not the end product. It's the bellows. It feeds the flame. It helps you forge better interventions, more human connections, and stronger outcomes. And like any tool in the Forge, its power really depends on the hand that wields it. Where there's data, there's fire. Article: The Power of Predictive Analytics in Higher Education, Boosting Yield and Retention with No Thought. Publisher, Liaison. In the Innovation Forge, we're not fortune tellers, we're smiths. We don't look into crystal balls, we look at the steel, the stress points, the grain, and that's exactly what predictive analytics brings to the enrollment and retention conversation. Informed, probabilistic precision that helps us know where to strike. This Liaison article offers a solid, clear-eyed overview of how platforms are giving institutions the power to predict which students are most likely to enroll, persist, or, frankly, disappear into the admissions abyss. The value is in the shift from reaction to strategy. Instead of waiting for the data post-mortem, predictive models let institutions act in real time. It's not magic, it's good metallurgy. One of the strongest takeaways here is that predictive analytics isn't just a recruitment tool, it's a connector between yield and retention, between enrollment managers and student success teams. Imagine a yield model that doesn't just predict who will show up on day one, but who might leave by midterms even. That's a different kind of Forge, one where you're tempering relationships, not just shaping them. But let's be clear, building these models takes more than just plugging in an Excel spreadsheet and lighting the fire. You need institutional buy-in, clean and cross-functional data, and the kind of interdisciplinary trust that's often the hardest thing to engineer. This works best when admissions and advising and IT and even marketing aren't siloed, just smiths banging away in separate corners. They have to share the Forge. There's also a valuable reminder in the article. Predictive analytics works best as a decision aid, not a decision maker. If you start treating a model output as gospel, you're no longer forging. You're just stamping. With this interpretive layer, you still need craft, still need intuition, still need professionals who know when to follow the signal, when to challenge it, push back at it. It's also worth noting that Liaison leans into the data of augmenting human decision-making, not just replacing it. That framing is crucial for admissions professionals who are wary of being sidelined by data tools. The model isn't the blacksmith, it's the flame. You're still the one holding the hammer. Final take? Predictive analytics is the fire in the Forge. It reveals stress points before they snap, shows where to strike, and gives you the confidence to act while the iron's hot. But it won't swing the hammer for you. That's still your job. So, if you're looking to wield data like a Slate Write and shape strategy with precision, this article is a worthy blueprint. The Personalized Spark, Tailoring Message to Metal. Article: The Art of Personalization, Communicating Effectively in Higher Education. Publisher: The Evolution, with 3 L's for some reason. In the Forge, no two strikes are quite the same. The alloy's thickness, the shape of the blade, the mood of the iron, every element calls for adjustment. That's the spirit behind the evolution piece, which makes a compelling argument for why personalization in higher education communication, it's no longer nice to have. It's a core tool in your recruitment arsenal. At its heart, the article makes a deceptively simple point. Students are people, not personas. They expect institutions to treat them like individuals with unique goals, anxieties, and curiosities. not just a CRM record with an SAT score and a zip code. Institutions that still rely on one-size-fits-all messaging risk being turned out like a blacksmith who never listens for the ring of the steel. The piece walks us through the shift from broadcast-style communication to more dynamic, segmented, and responsive messaging. Adaptive Enrollment Management. Sorry about that. From the first touch point, maybe a personalized landing page or a program-specific email, to yield campaigns that adapt based on behavior and interest, personalization increases the engagement because it respects attention. What I appreciate most is the article's acknowledgement that personalization isn't just about saying someone's name or referencing their major. It's about relevance, timing, and empathy. And that takes both art and infrastructure. This is where Slate writes and CRM builders come in, making sure our tools are set to strike at the right temperature. But beware the easy trap. Personalization without substance is really worse than none at all. We noticed you're interested in biology. Doesn't cut it if it just leads to a dead-end link or generic brochure. The promise of personalization must be matched by the experience. Otherwise, it becomes just another hammer swing that glances off the metal. This is especially important for institutions that tout values like inclusivity, community, and academic rigor. If your messaging feels mass-produced, you're not just missing a marketing opportunity, you're actually eroding the trust, however much of that you may have. The takeaway? Personalization is less about technology and more about intention. The most advanced CRM setup in the world won't help you if your team doesn't think like storytellers. You're not sending emails, you're forging relationships. The final take? Well, personalized messaging is the tempering phase of the enrollment forge. It takes what you've shaped, your brand, your offer, your data, and it makes it strong enough to hold. Institutions that get it right won't just see better click rates, they'll see better fit, better yield, and better outcomes. And there you have it. 4 tools added to the belt. 4 sparks thrown from the bellows. The work of the Slate Write isn't just technical. It's relational, strategic, rhythmic even. Whether you're tracking engagement flags, refining your predictive score, or reworking that drip campaign that hasn't dripped in months, remember, this is artisanal work. It's noisy, it's nuanced, and it's never finished. So keep your data clean, your messaging sharp, and your models humble. Until next time, remember to strike true. The Forge Bellows will be back, hotter, sharper, and with more coals and coffee. But please do visit my Substack to read future ones before they inevitably get to the podcast. And also check the show notes for the article links. I was not about to randomly read out what were some pretty atrocious URLs. But I do think these articles have great resources and can be a great tool as you develop for this next cycle. So please do check those show notes. Visit the Substack to read future Forge Bellows. There should already be at least 1 or 2 of these out by the time this podcast goes up. So thank you for listening.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please grow the guild by rating and reviewing the Innovation Forge podcast or sharing it with a colleague who needs to hear about these creative crossovers in education. The best review or comment every month will get an ebook of my book, of course. Particularly great ones will also be featured on future episodes. Thank you so much for joining me in the workshop today. Remember to strike true, and let's forge something extraordinary together.